Previously on the Crenshaw Corner.
But you can't do everything. And that's where, like, even my doctor's appointments, he'll come up for every appointment. I'll be like, you can stay in the car. He's like, no, I'm coming up. I'm like, but you can stay in the car. And I know you always say, like, why is she always telling me to stay in the car?
Right.
Because you just need a moment, babe. You need a moment without me. You need a moment without a physical therapist or, because they even train him how to do physical therapy. Physical therapy if you meet at home, right? And so, but you need a moment to yourself, And I think whether you like it or not, that's where I am when I'm pushing you and you're getting angry, that you need a moment to sit down and relax.
Yeah, but also I think there's a part of this that people don't like to talk about, because this is actually not my first rodeo as a caretaker, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I had that role as a much younger individual.
Your grandparent.
With my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't his primary, but I was the one that was there the majority of the time, because I was living with him.
Right.
I was living with my grandparents at the time. And it got to a certain point where my grandfather really didn't want anybody else to do anything for him but me.
Right.
And this was my adolescent, teenage years, where, and I don't think I know I've never had this particular conversation on the air.
Or with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm listening, because I'm like, wait. Well, I knew about you caretaking, but not we've never had the conversation.
Yeah. Well, hello there, family.
Hi, guys.
I didn't see you there. What's up? And welcome back to another edition of the Crenshaw Corner. Mm-hmm. I am your host, Sanchez Crenshaw, and as always, I am joined by the absolute best part of my day.
That's me, guys.
The apple of my eye.
I am the apple.
The wind beneath my wings.
Not doing no wind today.
The rib that completes me.
He's completed, y'all. Completed with a check mark.
The Marion to my Robin.
Is a show?
There have been shows, but it's not necessarily a show. It's actually a work of literature.
Oh, now we done went to books?
He was surrounded by merry men.
Robin Hood?
Robin Hood.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised you got that one.
You know what? I was going to say something to you, but we on the air. So.
No, it's not that. It's not that. You read. You're very well read. You're very intelligent, but you typically only read hood books. So,
baby, I ain't read a hood book since 19.
So I'm just saying.
When the last time you saw me read a hood book? Because I don't read hood books. See, that's how I know you don't be paying me any attention. Because if you was, you wouldn't even have said that. The majority of my books are inspirational and financial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So name the last time you see me read a hood book. And what do you qualify as a hood book?
I'm sorry, you're right. You don't read hood books. I apologize. You just watch hood movies.
Right, the devastation.
So I'm sorry, you're right. I stand corrected on
yes,
Algo's internet.
I think I need to have an apology.
I did apologize.
Okay.
I said I was sorry.
Okay, I'm just saying, don't be out here putting my business out there and slandering my name.
Is that what
right?
I'm doing?
You slandering me because
am I slandering your name?
Slandering. Okay,
Question.
anyway. I know my name.
Yeah, what is your name?
What's going on, guys? What is going on, guys? I am Angela Crenshaw, guys. What is going on?
That is my wife, family. Family, that is my wife.
Hi. And by the way, we always go through this all the time. Just because I don't watch the cheesy movies that you watch, don't judge. And I don't even judge you on yours, but you always find a way to judge me on my stuff.
First of all, because I don't watch cheesy movies. I watch very well-written, well-rounded characters.
If you say so, baby.
Those are the type of movies I watch.
Yeah, we do this all the time. We have this same conversation all the time, and the answer is you don't.
No, well,
all the time. Sometimes yes, the ones that we can agree on, I would say yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry that every movie I watch is not the same storyline. You got the big city girl going back home to the small town. She falls in love with either the baker. He's either a baker or farmer, a handyman, trying to run his little business, and the big city bank trying to shut him down.
Those are like my Christmas and Lifetime movies, bro.
Those are your everyday movies, and all of them are the same. All of them are exactly the same. Have you watched all of them?
You can't say that because you haven't watched all of them with me.
You only have to watch one. You watch one, you got the gist of all of it. Just like everybody wearing flannel. Everybody got a Labrador Retriever. Everybody in your business.
It's a small town.
It's always a bakery that's about to be shut down by the big city bank. The evil banker about to shut down the only bakery in town.
Are you done?
Because they trying to build a Dunkin' Donuts.
Those are my Lifetime movies.
So no,
my
I'm not
Christmas
doing
movies.
that.
Those are nice.
And then
those are seasonal.
He finds out that she works for the bank, and oh Lord, now he can't trust her.
Is you done, bro?
I'm just saying.
Are you done? Are you going to do housekeeping? Not housekeeping. Are you going to do housekeeping or not?
Saying. Now you got the third act confrontation.
Oh my gosh.
Now, okay.
Those movies are my seasonal.
Okay, well,
now
it must be every season because you watch them.
I do not.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall.
Seasonal. And by the way, super excited because I went back. You know what I noticed? And we're gonna get to housekeeping.
What you noticed?
But what I noticed is when you go back and look at old shows that you used to look at back in the day, where you thought were good, but then you go watch and you're like, ugh. But I found one that I thought was good back in the day. That's still really good.
What are you referring to?
What I've been watching.
I don't know. What have you been watching?
Starts with a G.
Golden Girls?
No, that's your daughter, bro. I don't watch no Golden
Grey's
Girls.
Anatomy?
No. Glee.
Oh, Lord. Glee.
I've been watching Glee, y'all.
Oh, yeah, you have. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Glee was bad when it was first on.
It wasn't.
And Glee's still bad.
Super good.
It's okay.
Super good, people. I love Glee.
Look, I don't care. I don't really care how you feel about Glee. Nobody's likable. Once again, you love those shows where you don't know who to root for because everybody's despicable. Everybody's
not despicable.
Everybody is despicable. Everybody in Glee is despicable.
Wow.
Everybody. There's nobody.
Wow.
There's nobody to root for. There's nobody to like. All the characters.
Wow.
It's one thing to have a flawed character, but when all your characters have no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Sad right now.
Name one character in Glee that has some type of redeeming quality.
Emma.
Which one was Emma?
Emma is the teacher that cleans everything.
The one that was going after the married man?
She wasn't going after him, baby. She liked him.
The one that was going after that's the one you root for. The one who's trying to break up a happy home.
I'm just saying I'm not rooting for anything, but I'm just saying one of the people that I do like the most on the show is Emma.
Okay, that's saying a lot about you and your character.
I like her style.
I'm just saying.
I like her style. I like Emma.
Now after 24 years of marriage, now we get down to the rooty tooty.
I like Emma.
Now your character
and
really
I like,
starting to come out.
The crazy, what's her name right now? I can't think of it.
Oh, you talking about the coach?
Yes.
I don't remember. I don't know her character.
And I love the coach.
Now but she crazy though.
I love
she
the
trying
coach.
to destroy everything.
Yeah,
she trying to burn it
her.
all down.
She be dead serious too.
Like I said, once again, feel how you want to feel about Glee.
I like Glee.
There's nobody to root for.
Whatever.
There's nobody with redeeming quality.
Whatever.
All the main characters are jerks.
I'm just saying.
There's not a friendly one in the bunch.
You know what? Forget it. Housekeep, bro. Housekeep.
Now we can do a whole episode. We can just do a whole episode on Glee.
No, we not. We're not gonna do it.
Family.
I went back to it and I thoroughly enjoy it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for listening, family.
Hi, guys.
However you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. Mm-hmm. We thank you for listening. As always, we consider ourselves an interactive podcast, which means we can be found on the socials. We're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, all under the Crenshaw Corner. And of course, you can email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Yay.
There you go. Housekeeping over. What we talking about?
Housekeeping. Okay. I was on TikTok.
You always on TikTok.
Because there be some interesting stuff on TikTok. And so I look for content that people be talking about to see what would be interesting to us.
So we can steal somebody else's content?
We're not stealing anyone's content at all. I'm not doing that. Right? Actually, I'm shouting out people's content and the things that they say and see if we believe it. But it's this and finally, last time I didn't have the couple's name.
You didn't have the
information. So
you got to do better with that.
So, but I have this information for her.
Cool,
so that was cool because I was determined not to do that again. So I apologize. But it's Ljima Saman.
I'm sorry?
Ljima, Ljeoma. And then Simaan. So I guess Ljima Saman.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yes.
We sorry, man.
We so sorry if you ever hear this. We apologize deeply. But she's on TikTok. And so she was talking about the 8+8+8+ rule.
8+8+8?
Which is 24, of course.
Okay.
So it caught my
3 times
attention.
that is 24.
Yeah, so it caught my attention. And what she was talking about was the fact that if you distribute your day, this is her thought process. I want to see what your thought process is. It something that will work for us and for other families? I don't know. But she said you distribute your day for 24 hours into 8+8+ hours to make a good balance sheet for your life. This is what she said.
Okay.
And she said that this really helped her when she was working remotely. It helped her so much doing the 8+8. So it kind of kept her, knowing where she should be and not giving more time than that 8 hours to that time. So the first thing she said is she did 8 hours of hard work. Basically, whatever job she had, she did 8 hours. That was it. 8 hours. That was it, Sanchez. 8 hours.
I don't know why you keep emphasizing
that was
8
it.
hours.
Because I just want to what she did. She did 8 hours and that was it.
Okay.
Did you get 8 hours? That was it?
I heard that.
Okay. So the next 8 hours, she said good 8 hours of sleep. She said that really helped her getting good 8 hours of sleep because she only worked 8 hours for work.
Okay.
8 hours. And so she was able to get 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
That's crazy, right? And then the other 8 hours she felt like what she did should be spent on three things. The first one is the 3 F's, which are family, faith, and friends. And then the next one is 3 H's, which is your health, your hygiene, and your hobby. And then the 3 S's are yourself, service, and smiling and being good to people.
Say that again.
Okay. So inside of the 8 hours should be spent on the 3 F's, 3 H's, and 3 S's. Okay. Those other 8 hours should be spent on the 3 F's are your family, your friends, and your faith. Okay. The 3 H's should be taking care of your health, your hygiene, and any hobbies that you have. Okay. And then the last one was 3 S's our self. Again, to talk about your health first, but now we're talking about taking care of yourself as a totality. Service, whether you volunteer or whatever, be service of someone, and then also smiling, which internalizing health and happiness. So yeah. So that she said when she was working remotely, that's what happened. That's what she utilized. It helped her a lot to keep herself on track where she wasn't spilling. Basically, I guess saying that she made sure that none of those things spilled over to each 8 hours. Right. So what's your thoughts about that? Is it hard to do?
I don't think it's hard to do. Mm-hmm. I think like anything in life, it's something that you have to be disciplined at, and it's something that you have to set your mind to. Mm-hmm. I'm not anything that's mental, because to me that's all mental. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe that anything mental is quote unquote hard to do. Mm-hmm. I believe it just takes dedication, it takes a determination, and it takes you to make a definitive decision on this is what you want to do.
Being intentional.
And then once you make that definitive decision and be intentional about what you want to do, then it's feasible to work into your day. I think it will be hard for some people to do that. The reason I think the reason it'll be hard to do that is that a lot of people struggle with prioritizing. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean creating a list and being able to complete a list. I mean being able to put themselves before other things, whether it be your job, whether it be your family, because to be able to do that, you have to put yourself first to be able to do that. To be able to break your day up in 8 hours and be able to break your day up in 8 hours with getting 8 hours of sleep, only dedicating 8 hours to your job, and then basically dedicating that other 8 hours to yourself in whatever form that looks like. Like you said, family, friends, faith, health, hygiene, hobby, and then service and smiling. To be able to do that, once again, you're putting yourself first. And I think a lot of people, especially in the Western civilization, I think they struggle doing that because that's not how we were raised. Yeah. That's not what you're taught.
Exactly.
You're taught if you're putting self first, especially when you have a family, especially when you have kids, especially when you have a spouse. Yeah. Even with your job, if you put yourself first, then you're selfish. or you
not
lack
a team player.
Yeah, you're not a team player, or you lack motivation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of negative things that people will tell you.
You wishy-washy.
Yeah, you know, not dependable.
Right.
You know, especially when it comes to a job. You tell your job that you're only giving them 8 hours. You know, even though you're scheduled 8 hours, even though that's your shift, even though they only pay you for 8 hours. When you tell them you're only giving them 8 hours, they start looking at you real funny, and they start questioning your dedication.
Yeah.
And so I think,
do you do your dedication? I'm sorry, babe, your dedication. And do you want to excel in this company, or do you want to, you know, go step up the ladder in this company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you also have famous people and quote unquote successful people telling you the only way to get successful is that you have to lack sleep, you have to lack self-care. When you have quote unquote successful people telling you this, it's hard for some people to really put themselves first. When to me, to be able to be successful in anything, you first of all have to be okay.
Yeah.
You have to be mentally okay. You have to be physically okay. You have to be spiritually okay. And if your body's running off fumes, there's no way to do that.
And then you have to be, I think the thing is being intentional as well. This is something that you have to be intentional about, regardless of how anything feel, because normally what happens on this first 8 hours of hard work normally bleeds over into the good sleep. You know, like the 8 hours of good sleep, where by the time you finish work, you getting a good 5 hours of good sleep. If that. And then the 8 hours of family, friends, faith, health, hygiene, and hobby, and self-service and smiling, most people delegate that to the weekend. Like, it's not like a hourly thing. It's like a day. Right. Well, I'll do that on Saturday and Sunday.
And they don't. Because by the time Saturday rolls around, they're tired.
Right. And then by the time Sunday, if you go to church or do anything, you're trying to get yourself together for Monday.
Right. You spend the weekend really basically getting ready to start your next week
to start your next weekend again. Yeah. Where she's saying, no. Every single day, this should be the rule. Right. The rule of thumb. And so, and now here's the thing. You were saying sometimes we were talking about the jobs be like, your laxy days are cool, you're this, you're that, and the other. But sometimes the job just wants you to do 8 hours, and you choose, I'm not talking about you, baby.
Right.
But you choose to sit there for another hour or two, because I've done that before. Another hour or two doing something when I should have just had the cutoff time and just got up, and whatever was not taken care of can be taken care of the next day.
Wait till the next day.
Right. But I find a lot of people who do that are people who are salary people, not hourly people. A lot of salary people, I love y'all, but y'all don't know how to get up and get at 8 hours. No, true. Because you're a salary person. You've always been a salary person. You've never been, I think,
pretty much my adult
since we've been together, you might have been an hourly person one time.
Right.
So am I wrong in that statement, though?
Nah, you're not wrong. It's once again not prioritizing. It's not putting the important things first. And your health should always come first. In whatever form that looks like. Once again, whether it's your mental health, your spiritual health, or your physical health, that should always come first before any and everything. Because if you're not physically good, if you're not mentally good, if you're not emotionally good, you're no good to anybody. Because that job that wants a 300% from you, but if you're sick, if you're mentally sick, if you're emotionally sick, if you're physically sick, you can't do anything for them. Same with your family. If you're mentally checked out, if you're emotionally checked out, if you're physically checked out, you're no good.
Right. And I think that's where what I liked about this was the balance of giving each thing the 8 hours, and then making sure that in that day you do have time for your family, your friends, having dinner with your family. That's 30 minutes right there.
Right.
Or having a conference call with your girlfriends. That's an hour. Well, it depends on what girlfriends. I had a conference call last night with my girlfriends. It was 3 hours.
It was 3 hours of change.
And your faith, spending time and giving God glory and praying together and being together as a family, and then going to church or anything like that. And then, as far as your health is concerned, exercising. It's saying in that day, because I think what I keep saying, making sure that we understand, we're talking about in one day.
In one day. One 24-hour day.
1 24-hour day. In one day. That she's saying you should also be able to do something health-wise. Right. Basically, whether it's eating well, doing a smoothie, whatever it takes, and as far as your hygiene is concerned. And it's like And when you hear hygiene, you be like, brush your teeth. And it's about the whole totality of maybe doing a body scrub or a rub, like whatever that is.
Or if you're a person that works from home, because we know in this day and age, remote working is a lot. Actually getting up and taking a shower and putting on real clothes. And not just
because.
Yeah, not just rolling out of bed and going to your workstation and start your day. Actually treat the day like you were going into the office. Get up a little earlier. Take your shower. Sit down for a minute. Collect your thoughts. If you're a coffee drinker, get your coffee. Put on some real clothes. Do your hair. And actually feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
And actually take the time to actually do that. Also, you know what I hear when we talk about this? When I heard when you were reading kind of the list of what she was referring to, one word that kept coming to me is boundaries. To be able to do this, you have to set the proper boundaries.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are scared to do this, but a lot of people are scared to set boundaries, not only in their personal life but their professional life.
Yep.
But your employer does it every day.
Yep.
Your employer did it from day one. They told you their expectations. They told you, they gave you that employee handbook. You read over the rules of what's allowed and what's not allowed.
As far as you can go.
They set boundaries of what the position entails, what it holds, what the company will and will not accept. Those are the boundaries of the company.
Right.
But as employees, we're scared sometimes to do the same and set a boundary with our employer. Or set a boundary with our kids, or set a boundary with our spouse, or set a boundary. And here's where a lot of people have troubles, setting a boundary with your mother. Because she loves you and she means well, but everything she says is not golden.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to set a boundary with that person in your life that is an habitual line stepper.
Yeah.
And you have to set a boundary that this will no longer be allowed or tolerated.
Yeah.
And to be able to do this and do it successfully, as far as do the 8 hours, 8 hours work, 8 hours personal, 8 hours of sleep, you have to set the proper boundaries.
Yeah.
That when it's an hour, when this is your hour, you set the boundary and you set the tone that nothing will interfere.
Yeah. I think too, one thing that stood out to me when she was like, your hobbies. I don't think people even know what hobbies they have anymore.
They don't.
Do you know what hobbies you have? One of your hobbies is?
I have two. But unfortunately my hobbies are a little actually I have three, but they're a little expensive. I'm a gamer, which a lot of people are.
Yes, you are.
So that's one of my hobbies. I'm a collector. I'm a vinyl collector. I love vinyl records. I just personally, for me, I think music on vinyl just sounds so much better. And then I'm a collector of action figures.
Yeah.
So those are my three hobbies.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how much time do you spend per day doing those things that you love? Since those are the things that you love. How many hours, how many do you spend? Because here's the thing. It's like, in this day, you got to at least touch your family, touch your friends,
Right.
touch your faith, basically. It's like, and again, it's not like you just be there all day like, oh. It's like, touch that area, touch your health, touch your hygiene, touch, again, touch your hobby or your self-care, your service or smiling. You just got to touch it, so far as your hobby is concerned, how much do you think you spend time?
Now, okay, I can't go by day. I would say by the week, maybe I may get an hour in for the week in gaming, maybe. My record collection, I can't tell you the last time I listened to one of my records.
Why?
Because I tell myself I don't have time. Because I make everything else more important, because I got stuff I got to do for the job. I got stuff I got to do for the family. I got stuff I got this errand to run, and I don't take the time to just stop, put headsets on, and just listen to my records.
Just sit.
Yeah, I don't make the time because, once again, like I said, I'm being hypocritical. I don't set the right priorities because when it comes to my 24 hours, I put a lot of things before my personal 8 hours.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay. So what would your hours of hard work, what would that be in a 24-hour period?
If I'm being honest,
that's what I said.
14 to 16.
14 to 16.
14 to 16.
That leaves you 10 more hours?
Yeah.
Okay. And then how much of good sleep?
Good sleep or sleep?
It said good sleep.
2.
And then how much do you spend on the family, friends, and faith, the health, the hygiene, the self-service, the smiling? How much?
The rest of it, I can't do the quick. I don't want to do the quick math in my head.
So you said, okay, so that means that you do 5 hours.
I would say, yeah. I would give the family a good 5 hours. Yeah.
How's that balance?
It's not balanced at all.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's actually quite agitating. What I've noticed is that I stay agitated most of the time. So within my 24-hour period, I spend, if I'm being honest once again, I spend anywhere from 22 to 23 hours of that time aggravated, because even in my sleep, I'm aggravated. Because even in the little bit of sleep that I get, my mind is focused on, I'm already in the next day.
Yeah.
I'm already focused on what task I need to complete, what needs to be done.
Wow.
Already preparing for a fire that I'm going to have to put out.
At work?
At work and in personal life.
Okay.
Because if we're honest, this last 2 months or so for us personally, we've had a lot of fires to come up that we've had to put out.
Absolutely.
So I would say even with that, even the time of good sleep, I'm still not getting good sleep because I'm already caught up in my next 8 hours. So I'm already caught up in what needs to be done, how it needs to be done.
Yeah. With you knowing that, first of all, that work bleeds into everything. Basically, work shortens anything that you could do, any good time for yourself. So basically, if you're saying like 15, 16 hours at work, that's not leaving you any, let's go back to, that's 9 hours, not really leaving you anything per day for yourself.
It's not,
or for your family. And of course, that's where the agitation comes from. Yeah.
And the crazy part is, since we're having this conversation, it's not even a requirement of my job. Because once
that's
again,
what I want to get to, because I'm saying that's what we need to get to, because I think a lot of husbands and wives, or whoever the significant other that's pulling all these long hours, need to hear what you're saying. So that's why I'm saying that's what I'm talking about.
Because let's take the previous weekend, for example. So my boss went out on holiday last week. So we had a meeting before she went out, and I told her that it was a possibility that I was going to work the weekend. She really advised me not to. She said, get what you can done Friday and then pick it back up on Monday. I worked anyway.
Yeah.
And not only did I work anyway, I ended up doing almost 17 hours on Sunday.
On a Sunday, y'all.
Yeah, on Sunday. I did almost 16, 17 hours consistently. And then picked it back up Monday and did another almost 14 hours.
But why? She told you didn't have to.
She told me I didn't have to.
But why? What is that? What is that about?
Because I've, unfortunately, once again, having an honest conversation, I've been conditioned. I'm from a Western civilization, and I've been conditioned where work comes first, especially as a male, especially as a man. Work comes first. You work hard. You do everything you can to provide for your family, and if it means putting in double-digit hours, then you put in double-digit hours. And it's that part that I'm breaking that curse, that I'm doing my best to try to break that curse, because that's not the case. That's not how it's supposed to be. Yes, as the man, I'm supposed to provide. Yes, I'm supposed to, as the Bible say, till the land and the soil. There's things I'm supposed to do. But with that as well, there's other ways I'm supposed to take care of my family that I'm not, because I'm so focused on, quote unquote, the physical labor of it, if that makes sense.
Like taking care of yourself, because your family does not work well without you in it, right? You not, whether it be your health or whatever the case is. So I'm glad you said that. This segues me into this. On TikTok, it's called The Black Man Can, right? It's like it's not one person, it's like a cluster of people.
Okay.
And one thing that they had up here, and I was like, I said, I'm going to hold on to it, because if you said anything in reference to something like this, then I would say this to you. So he says, and I want to see if this is true. He said the Black Man Can, again, is the TikTok. But he said the battle most husbands don't talk about. You ready? Number 1, your mind wants financial freedom. Your body wants sleep. Your heart wants more time with your wife and kids. So you pray for a peace of mind and a calm heart when you can.
Yeah. I believe that.
That's deep.
Yeah. Say it again for me.
The battle most husbands don't talk about. Your mind wants financial freedom. Your body wants sleep. Your heart wants more time with your wife and kids. So you pray for peace of mind and a calm heart when you can't have it.
Yeah. That's my everyday struggle in a nutshell.
Really?
That's why I don't sleep well. That's my everyday struggle. Because I want to sleep. To be honest, I want to stop. I just want to rest. I honestly do. I just want to rest, but I can't because something has to be done. Something needs to be done. My family is not where they totally need to be. My grandkids are not where they totally need to be. Financially, we're not where we totally need to be. So So how dare I stop when the mission is not completed? So until the mission is completed, I have to soldier on. I have to keep moving.
But do you have paperwork to tell you when the mission is completed, or you just say to yourself, I'm asking the questions that somebody might ask you that wasn't married to you. So like, when will the mission be complete? Like, where is there a number? Is there something that says, it's complete? Or this is just a cycle that's going to keep going? It's
not necessarily a cycle that's going to keep going, but there is an end goal. There is an end game. But until we get to that final chapter, I have to keep moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is.
As your wife, no, I don't like it. And I'm not telling him anything that he don't know, because I tell him this all the time, that we are fine. Like, as a family, we are fine. So it's okay to sleep. But again, being the person I am, that makes me hypocritical because I don't sleep well.
Yeah, you do the same thing.
I do the same thing, right? Because I'm thinking, we should be doing more. We should be doing more with Crenshaw Corner. We should be doing more with our business. We both should not be working. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should be working on. So you go through this whole thing, but when I go back to her stuff is, if you take it one day at a time and have the balance, there's a fulfillment in the balance. There's a fulfillment, because your mind wants financial freedom, right? And then it says your body wants sleep. So the balance for the day is just to get 8 hours of sleep. Can you just get the 8 hours of sleep? And then it says your heart wants more time with your wife and kids. Going back to what she said, right? Is family, the 3S, family, friends, so there has to be, you have to have a balance, because when you're off balance, you're not helpful, not you per se, but when you're off balance, you're not helpful to anyone. You're irritated, you're aggravated, you're snippy, you're snappy, you don't feel like yourself. And when that happens, there's a level of stress that happens to your body when you don't sleep. And again, I'm not being hypocritical, because I'm the same exact way. So when I know for sure, there's a type of level of stress that handles your body, and stress then begins to bring on illness and sickness and disease.
But there's a catch-22 with that as well, though.
Go for it.
Especially from the male's perspective. Okay. We're not allowed. We're not allowed to stop. Because the dirty little secret that no one really likes talking about is that when a man stops for whatever reason, he's considered less than. He's considered lazy. He's considered not motivated whenever a man stops. So that's something that we're always balancing as well, because we never want that stigma attached to us. We never want that look. We never want it as though that we're lazy, or that we're shiftless, or that we're not giving everything that needs to be gave, especially when it comes in relation to our family, to our spouses. And unfortunately, sometimes we get it from internal and external, because there are some times where we get the look from our spouses, or they verbally say it. Well, what are you doing? I mean, well, why are you just sitting there, or why are you doing this, when we just took a minute to stop?
Yeah.
So that's another thing that the dirty little secret we don't like talking about, that a lot of times we would love to. We would love to rest. We would love to take a moment.
Right.
But a lot of the times we're not allowed to.
But then that goes back to sorry guys, that goes back to forgetting what outside is saying, but cultivating, if possible, making that normal in the inside of your home. Because I think in your family, that might have been what grandma and granddaddy did or whatever, but what you cultivate for your home and your family for generations to come is, so how do we cultivate that? How do we be like, okay, you can stop, so that way that not only you, I'm talking not just you, like, so your sons know that you can stop, and your grandsons that they know they can stop, and it's okay by what's cultivated in your home.
Right.
Does that make sense? Versus,
no, it makes perfect sense.
Versus what the outside world says, because we're not raising the outside world. We're raising what's inside of this nucleus in our family, and allowing you to rest. I think that's why it's so important when I kind of like kick you out and be like, go to a hotel somewhere, like, please go away, because you have a right to that, right? Male or female, you have a right to that thing that you want. You have a right to your hobbies. You have a right to sleep. There's certain things that you have a right to do. But what I realized, that even for you, talking about you personally, even if I tell you to rest, you don't know how. Even if I take everything away from you, you don't know how. So how do you begin to get the balance that she's talking about? How do you begin to break that curse of feeling some type of way, because that's the way that society, I hope this question makes sense to you, that's the way society sees that you should be lazy or shiftless, when they don't matter. The thing that matters, who's in the house, matters. How do you break that?
The question makes sense. It starts, I must go personal and general, or general then personal. Mm-hmm. Generally, it starts with a conversation that, first of all, the other person in the house has to be okay with it. Mm-hmm. So whatever they're dealing with, mm-hmm. that has them look at their husband like, mm-hmm. well, he's laying on the couch, so he's shiftless, or mm-hmm. there's 8,000 things in his house that he could be doing, so mm-hmm. he needs to do something. Mm-hmm. It starts with a conversation of a safe space mm-hmm. within the home. Mm-hmm. Allow your husband that time to just be. Allow him the peace. Yeah. It starts there. And then for the husband, give yourself permission to stop. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the times we don't. Because a lot of the times it's not the spouse. A lot of the times it's really us. Yeah. A lot of the times it's what's going on in our own head, what mm-hmm. we've learned, or what we saw, mm-hmm. or what our father instilled in us, or what got instilled in us by the previous generation. Right. So a lot of the times it's having a conversation with ourselves, giving mm-hmm. ourselves permission to mm-hmm. stop.
And also having expectations that your spouse, your significant other, didn't even place on you, or don't even want from you, but you place that on yourself. Because I think sometimes, like, when we talk about that too, for me, because me and him are the same way. If I'm sitting down too long, I got to find something to do, because I feel like, oh my God, I could be sweeping, dusting, even if it don't, like, they laugh at me, because I'll be like, this house is a hot mess, and everybody be like, but where though? Find the hot mess, because if every day you come home and say the house is a hot mess, and you clean it the hot mess every day, how is it that thing? But like, you feeling like I should be doing something. Yeah. And so I think we have to break that curse, for us in our home and beyond, because if you don't, then there's no enjoyment. That means that you are living to work, living to pay bills. So then when you die, you're supposed to be happy. Like, when does the happy come? You know what I'm saying? When does not? And I'm not, doesn't mean there's not fleeting moments of happiness. That's not what I'm saying for any of us. But what I am saying is, you deserve that. You deserve to have that. We all deserve to have that. So when she put that out there because when I first read it, I was like, in the week, in the month, but I was like, no, she's talking about per day. That means you're investing in yourself, and the equity that is you is building. The compound interest that is you is built. See how I took that the finances?
I see that.
Is building. The investment is you. And if you don't pour into you, then what? Right? So I realized what she was saying, every day, this is what it should look like. Yeah. Every day, not every week, not you just do those other things, the health, happiness, you just do that on Saturday and Sunday. No, every single day. Is that feasible for you? Because I have to question myself, could I do it? And is it feasible for me? So that's why I'm asking you that question. It
is feasible. Once again, and I'm having this conversation with myself as well. Mm-hmm. It has to be intentional. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It can't be something that you just wait to happen. Mm-hmm. Or if it happens, then fine. or if I find time for it, it's fine. It can't be an if.
Yeah.
For this to work, for the balance to happen, it can't be if. It has to be planned.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it is you have to stop to do this. You have to stop immediately.
Yeah.
You not only got to stop being intentional, you have to stop immediately. And whether you like it or not, you're going to have to schedule this. It's going to have to be planned.
Yeah.
Right? So 8 hours, what time do you get up? Well, I normally get up at 6. Okay, go back 8 hours from that. That's what time you need to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things. That's what time you need to go to bed. Okay, you work 8 to 5. Okay, I'm going to need you to be ready to clock out at 4:55. It's that kind of intentionality to see if it could work, basically.
Yeah.
Right? If it could really work. Those times you take your shower, you go meditate, all those things, how much time would I spend doing that? And here's the thing, nothing's the 3 things are in stone, etched in stone, but the way that you do it far as your friends and family is not etched in. It's your choice how you do it. But just to do it, even to serve. We have Love Week. We go to Elevation, and we have Love Week. And so where we go and we just serve. We've been doing that for years, and it's such a great thing. But what made me think about it just now is because you said yes last night. You was like, I haven't served yet.
I've been so caught up.
I haven't served.
It hasn't even crossed my mind
to serve.
And I've done it every year that we've been a part of the church.
Every year.
And
so
it didn't. I've been so caught up in everything that's going on that it didn't even cross my mind.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing of being so caught up. So I think the cutoff point is what works. The cutoff point where I'm cutting this part, not my whole day, but this part of my day has just ended.
Right.
Right. It just ended. And that's what makes a difference. The other day there was we live in North Carolina, South Carolina. Well, we live. And it was everybody in the house was asleep. So I thought. So it was a thunderstorm. It was lightning. It was a thunderstorm, y'all. And I just got up and I just felt the need for just to go out and sit on the balcony and just sit in that. Sit in the noise, sit in the thunder, absolutely do nothing. It was the best thing that I could do for myself.
Right.
Now, with all the noise that was going on, the peace that I had just sitting there was so amazing to me because I got up intentionally just to go outside, just to hear the storm and just sit there. Everybody's sleep, because sometimes what you may need to do for yourself is when ain't nobody around or when everybody is asleep. Again, timing that in a way that works for you.
Yeah.
And I remember coming back in and you came to like, well, where you was? And I was like, I was just outside listening to the storm. Like, it was amazing, So it just came to me like just finding time for yourself, finding the balance, cutting some stuff off, and giving and also giving yourself grace that because you cut it off and you're not doing anything, you're taking care of yourself, does not mean you're not doing anything. Because if you're taking care of yourself, you're doing a lot. There is something that you're doing. Yeah. You're trying to live.
There is one quick thing I want to touch on that we haven't touched on that I think it's so important.
Yeah.
And it was the third S, smile.
Smile.
Understanding that smile is not for anybody but you.
Mm-hmm.
The smile is not to appease anyone. It's not to please anyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to have anyone thinking anything different. The smile is for you because when you smile, it brings you joy. It brings you joy to yourself.
Yeah.
It's just something about something as simple as a smile.
Wow. Yeah.
That forces you into a different mindset a lot of the times. So that smile is so important.
Yeah.
Because once again, the smile is for nobody but you.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult it is, no matter what that thing is that's pressing on you or stressing on you.
Yeah, that's laying on you.
Sometimes it's just beautiful just to stop and just to think of something that brings you joy. Mm-hmm. Because what happens to get that smile, you got to think of something pleasant.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about it. Because to really smile, it forces you to change your mindset for that moment. Mm-hmm. Because to get a genuine smile, because anybody can do a fake smile, but she's not talking about a fake smile.
No.
It's that genuine, happy smile. Mm-hmm. And to do that, you have to think of something pleasant. Mm-hmm. You have to think of something happy.
Yeah.
Even if it's something as simple as you were walking and saw the most beautiful butterfly.
Yeah.
Or you were walking and you saw two squirrels playing, whatever it is, or a bird just flew and just start talking, whatever it is,
right?
Or something that happened from your childhood, or something, or you were playing with your nieces and nephews, whatever it is,
right?
Whatever it is that brings that joy to you,
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing because that's needed, especially when you're having that day,
yes,
that we all have, that day where it seems like today the world just decided to bully you,
yeah.
And we've all been there.
Trying to come for me.
Yeah, it's just like today the world decided it wanted my lunch money. And when you have those moments and those times, and when you can just stop for a moment and think of that one good thing.
Just smile.
And allow it to take over you for that moment, and then that smile comes, it becomes easier. Yeah. It becomes easier to deal with what you're dealing with. It becomes easier to get through the day.
Yeah.
Because you realize no matter how dark it is. My favorite analogy will always be that the most beautiful thing that God ever did is that he gave us the rainbow, which is his covenant. Yeah. And the only time you see a rainbow is during a storm. It has to storm first. Yep. It has to rain. It has to do some things. It has to be unsettling first before that rainbow comes. Yeah. And when it comes, it's the most beautiful thing you see in the sky.
Like, oh.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing. That's another beautiful thing about a rainbow. I don't care how hard of a person you are. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how jaded you are. If you see a beautiful rainbow, a smile will typically come to your face.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. When you see that, that rainbow shooting through the sky. And so in that brief moment, allow your smile to be that covenant with God for you. Allow that smile to be that rainbow. Allow that smile to be that thing that cuts through the darkness and cuts through the hard time. That makes sense?
It makes absolute sense.
Okay.
So my final thoughts are.
Talk to me. What's up?
Is to remind married couples and significant others that this 8+8+8 rule that she's talking about for every day is not going to look the same as your significant other. Right. It's still going to be 8 hours of sleep and 8 hours of hard work and 8 hours of whatever, but that 8 hours with the 3 F's, the 3 H's, and the 3 S's may not look exactly the same. So don't be like, well, why are you doing it this way? And what, no. It's not going to look the same because we're talking about a balanced life for them. Right. Let me help you. For them, not for you, but for them. Because the more balanced they are, the more loving and kind and gentle and being intentional for themselves, the more you get from them. So understand that this is for them, and you can't dictate what they are going to do and how they are going to do it because it is theirs for them to do. I like that. Right, for the work. So that. So that's what I got. What's your final?
My final thought is really simple. One word: intentionality. Just be intentional. Yeah. Be intentional. Be intentional with your 8 work hours. Be intentional with your 8 sleep hours. Be intentional with your self-care hours. Just be intentional. Yeah. So family, we thank you. We appreciate you. We thank you for listening. However you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. As always, we consider ourselves an interactive podcast, which means we can be found on the socials. Yes. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, all under The Crenshaw Corner. Yeah. And of course, you can email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. And as always, family, welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye.